Hello and welcome back to the Blue Jay Way podcast. I'm Chris May, joined as always by Jack Ryan. And Jack,
Mm-hmm.
the Blue Jays are arriving down in
Yeah.
Dunedin to spring training. It's exciting times to see
Yeah.
all the guys back, some new guys in new uniforms, but we'll get to that a little bit later because we're going to start with one of the bigger storylines of the recent offseason, which was we talked about it for a whole episode, basically the Bo Bichette contract saga. And
Yep.
it looked like they were heading for arbitration, which can get nasty, which is not something that I think is good for a relationship between a player and a team. And I think just 2 or 3 days before the hearing, they came to an agreement on what
Mm-hmm.
Bo is worth to the team. And it was a 3 year, $33.6 million deal, which basically gives the Blue Jays cost certainty through his remaining arbitration years.
Mm-hmm.
So there's now no more risk for any arbitration in the future, any damaged relationship in terms of the contract. Bichette, with his about $11 million per year salary, he's getting a lot for an
Mm-hmm.
arbitration eligible shortstop,
Mm-hmm.
more than a lot more than most of the recent arbitration eligible shortstop studs that we've seen, like Carlos Correa, Trey Turner. He's getting more. He's getting even a bit more than Francisco Lindor did at this stage in his career. So, Jack, I'll send it over to you here on your thoughts on this deal and if it is fair value for the Blue Jays after you you're looking for
Uh,
something lower, but we got to understand that this is not just for this season; it's for multiple seasons.
yeah, and that's to truth be told why I don't fault them for giving him 11 million per year. It's to cover every season moving forward where he's arbitration eligible. Um, I think it's a smart move as far as not burning the bridge between the two parties. I think them offering over double what he originally was offered at the $5 million mark a few weeks back. I think for both parties, it's exactly what needed to happen because you have him under contract for the next 3 seasons. You don't need to worry about anything until he's an eligible free agent in 2026. This is the right move by Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro because you don't come across a shortstop with the offensive output that Bo Bichette has put on display over the last 2 seasons. And I truly believe he's only going to get better offensively. As far as defensively, that's where my gripe was originally. So, I mean, he hasn't played shortstop for that long. He only started, I believe, when he went up to New Hampshire in AA or even AAA in Buffalo. He was kind of, moved around the diamond. They didn't know where they wanted him to be. And then shortstop, they just went, well, we need one. So go for it. Um, I think through defensive drills, and I think being alongside Matt Chapman again this year is really going to benefit him defensively. And I hope that he puts in the work after that contract hearing. And they went and they said, okay, we're going to give you 3 years. We're going to give you 11 million per, but you got to go out there and show us that you can make a huge jump in a positive direction on defense. That's my only, and it was my only issue when they couldn't come to an agreement a few weeks back was they're paying you for your whole game. So half of his games really got to pick up the pace.
Yeah, I mean that would be probably the talking point in arbitration, which I think both sides are probably pretty grateful they don't have to get to that point and dig deep into the numbers and the fact that
Mm-hmm.
Bo is literally in some metrics the worst defender at shortstop in the MLB. I'm sure that would have been brought up, and I have an article pulled up here from Shy to Be on Sportsnet, and Bo seems really relieved that that didn't have to happen. I don't know
Yeah.
if he would have been maybe in the best spot mentally to start the season after hearing that. And there's this quote that I think kind of says a lot about how Bo felt throughout the process here. He
Mm-hmm.
said, it was never really about how much money I can make or anything like that. It was more about seeing that the team wanted to value me. And I think that the contract they
Mm.
gave me definitely showed that they value me and respect what I do here. That was really all it was for me. I think he's quite happy. I think this puts him in a good spot to, get to camp and start working on being the best shortstop he can be. Um,
Mm-hmm.
But I think that that's kind of a telling quote as to what he was going through, and maybe feeling like, yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm maybe not valued as much as I should be as a leader on this team, as, playing a premium position, even though I don't necessarily
Yeah.
have the defensive stats to back it
To pick
up.
it up. Yeah. But
But
also, yeah, I
yeah.
mean, he was going through a lot of crap last year. We know the stuff with his brother
Mhm.
claiming via his social media accounts that their father, Dante Bichette, was abusive in certain ways. I don't want to go too much into that because it's not my place. It's no one's place except for the families. But that can weigh on a guy. Dante's Bo's hero. Dante
Also,
was.
Dante not being around
Yeah, I think,
for
yeah,
the
you're
first
right.
year of him not being with the team.
It's an
Uh,
adjustment period for sure because his
yeah, not
Dante's been around
having kind of
Bo.
that constant, you know,
Yeah,
maybe reminders from your father, your dad, who's a big league, vet,
yeah,
saying like, "Bo, you should work on this. Maybe you should do this." He was probably trying to find maybe his own routine
yeah.
by himself. And his September was incredible. Like
Oh,
if
407 batting average and
yeah,
7 home runs. Like, that's insane.
yeah, that's the thing with Bo. If he can harness that offense, stay consistent, and have that same approach where he was just slapping balls to right field, using that great kind of cut down short swing,
His
just kind
two
of
strike
poking the ball.
approach arguably is the best in baseball.
Yeah, but I think early in the count, he should maybe try to incorporate some of that two strike approach and not just swing out of his
Yeah,
shoes, and be a bit more patient, get his pitch, which is, I think, something that we saw from Vlad in
yeah.
his Hank Aaron season, his 2021 season, is Vlad was not swinging at pitches that he didn't like.
No.
It was for Vlad, it was, I'm going to get my pitch and I'm going to hammer it. I'm going to hit it as hard as I can. I think if Bo kind of really dials it in on, I'm not going to swing at pitches because I think I can hit everything. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
make the pitcher come to me and hit the pitches that I'm comfortable with.
Yeah,
And I'm going to get a couple of those pitches every game.
yeah.
And if Bo can maybe just work on the mental side of staying patient,
Mm-hmm.
he could be one of the premier offensive players in the league. So
Well,
I
I
think
think
is
sorry.
great. Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, I think his plate coverage ability is top five, if not top three in Major League Baseball. The fact that he can, on two strikes, he can just pull his hands in, and if it's an inside pitch, he'll just turn on it, and it's gonna magically just in the right field.
Yeah.
And even I think it was oh god, there was he's a relief pitcher on the Tigers. Is it Lang? Something Lang?
Lang?
I don't know. Either
Not sure.
anyway, doesn't matter.
It's the Tigers.
It's
We
the
don't know
Tigers.
much
Yeah.
about the Tigers
No. we
roster.
we probably should, but so
Well,
he said they asked him in an interview that who's the toughest guy to get out, and he named Bo Bichette number one. He's like there were times where I'd throw in, this guy apparently throws like 97, 99, and he would throw an inside fastball and Bo would just magically pull his hands in. He's like, the guy was like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? Like, I can't bust him inside because he's going to hit it the opposite way. I bust him outside, he's just going to go with the pitch and hit it anyway. So if he can continue to have success with that two strike approach and then also up his defense, we could be very well seeing a batting title season from Bo. He could definitely
he
win the
got that
batting
potential.
title. Oh,
He's got that
100%.
potential.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit more about the length of this in the window that the Jays now have.
3 years.
This is 3 years.
Yeah. So 2026. Yeah.
In my opinion, the World Series must come in the next 3 years.
Yeah. This is their shot.
Yeah. If this is their window. It's not big. It's maybe not as big as we thought it would be. At least with this core, with this specific core of players.
Well, okay, but who to you makes up the core? For me, it's Vladdy, Bo, Springer, Manoah. Yeah,
Barrios.
Well, yeah, they have Barrios until 2028, so he's really going to be here for a long time. Gosman and Springer's contracts both come to an end in 2026.
Right.
And so that's $47 million off the books at that point.
To me, this 3-year extension continues to kind of hammer home the fact that the Jays have a 3-year window, give or take, with this current core to make the World Series, to win the World Series ideally, or at least to get there.
Yep.
Is that how you kind of see this as well? That this 3-year deal kind of lines up, that could be another factor in this too?
Yeah, because Vladdy's on a 1-year arbitration deal with 14 and a half this year to cover this season, right? But who's to say that he's not going to get a 12-year contract extension midway through the season this year, or right into the offseason next year? Like we don't know, right?
I feel like that's coming, and I feel like throughout Vlad's career, it's always kind of just been everyone's kind of been comfortable with the fact that Vlad's never really been an issue. Like I feel like we're all comfortable with the fact that Vlad is going to sign that long-term deal.
Yep.
It's going to happen. However much money it is, doesn't really matter. He's that good. It's going to happen. Yeah. But with the surrounding core, the guys that have all kind of came up together.
Yep.
These are the years. These are the years that you're going all out. You're bringing in guys like Varsho and Bassett in the offseason. This
Kevin
is
Kiermaier.
The window.
Yeah.
This is the window.
This is the window.
This lines up well with that, and the Jays can make a decision on Bo based on the team's performance and his performance. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm pretty happy with this deal, and it seems like Bichette is as well.
Yeah, he seems to be happy. He also stated that he's glad he avoided what was the adjective he used? I think it was unfair or something.
Incredibly flawed.
That's it. Thank you.
Arbitration is an incredibly flawed process.
Mm-hmm. So that tells you, I think this deal also puts him back in good faith with the team.
Yeah,
which is what they need, because
that's all you can really ask.
A shortstop of that output on offense is very hard to come by. It's once in every 10 years. So, I'll sacrifice if he can become a decent defender. With a defensive WAR of like 1.5 even, but he's putting up an offensive WAR of 3.5 or 4. I'm fine with that. I just don't want it to be negative. That's all.
Yeah. All right. Let's play a little game here.
All right.
So you're Bo Bichette's agent.
Okay.
And you're seeing Bo play shortstop. He's struggling.
Yeah.
The Jays, as we know, don't have a premier second baseman.
No, they don't.
Would you tell Bo you can move to second base and be the best second baseman in the league? Maybe this is near the end of this 3-year deal when he's going to be up for his payday.
Yeah.
You could say, Bo, you can move to second, be the best second baseman in the MLB, or you can be the 10th best shortstop. Would you push to have Bo switch positions, or would you say, this is what's gotten you here?
Dude, I like this. I like this a lot. This is a good hypothetical, but it very well couldn't be. It might very well be practical in a few years' time. We don't know. But that's
like a legacy thing.
It is a legacy thing, right? But it's also an ego thing. Will his ego be able to take, being told, hey, you're a top 10 shortstop, but you could be the best second baseman in baseball? He very well could be. Like he'd be.
You could get paid like it.
Yeah, exactly. But we've seen second basemen don't get a lot of money. I think Jose Altuve is the highest paid.
He would be the benchmark. He would be the benchmark.
Yeah, I could see because Jose Altuve I think is making 26 or 26 and a half per season. So
which Bo at shortstop. Probably not worth that money.
No, at shortstop, at second base, you're damn right.
Probably would be worth it.
Yeah, he'd probably be worth. I'd even give him 28.
Yeah,
28 at that point.
That's a conversation that might happen.
Well, not to mention, like we've talked about this on and off the podcast. I think Santiago Espinal moving to short and then putting Bo at second, even this year, possibly next year, if they keep Espinal on the team, would be the right move. Because Espinal's defense is Gold Glove caliber, and we've seen him at third base, we've seen him at shortstop for a few outings, but I think you move the better defender to shortstop and higher defensive run safe per 9 innings, just as a team overall, which is we're going to see a huge hike in that stat from this Blue Jays team with the addition of Varsho and Kiermaier, and the team is going to be a lot better defensively. Yeah, if I'm his agent and I'm going to bring Dante in to talk to Bo about this, I think that's the first move that I would make, is say, look, we're going to talk to your dad and see what he thinks.
Yeah.
And then because Bo takes a lot of his advice from his father, so I think it's a smart idea. I would move Bo Bichette I would tell him, like, look, you could be the best second baseman. Arguably the best second baseman in Blue Jays history, and that's saying a lot considering Roberto Alomar. So
yeah. And like I don't know. I never played competitive baseball at all. I don't really understand why it's such a big deal moving.
It's covering more ground between
Yeah,
because
for
you're
sure.
covering halfway down the line, down the third base line,
Yeah,
or down between third and
but
second, and
in
then
terms of ego, I get
ego.
it's a
Yeah.
premium position,
Hmm.
but I don't really get the fact that being a shortstop is so much more coveted than being a second baseman.
I
It
think
doesn't make any sense to me.
probably the air of difficulty, because shortstop's the hardest position to play in the sport. Second base is considered one of the easier positions to play in the sport.
Yeah.
So, and
But
plus,
if you can't handle shortstop, it's natural to move to second. And if you're
mhm,
still producing offensively and you have, a near perfect defensive record at second base because it's easier,
mhm.
I don't see how that hurts.
No, it doesn't hurt. Also, like look at Marcus Simeon. He came to the Jays on a 1 year contract for 18 mil, moved to second base and allowed Bo to play shortstop. Then he goes to Texas the following season and signs a
And
25 and a half.
that's what Bo could do.
I agree. But he doesn't leave. He stays here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a very interesting
Spilled water on
conversation.
myself.
And I'm super excited to see Bo hit the field and see if some offseason maybe work on the defense can
Yeah.
pay off. But I'm
Mhm.
good to see him in good spirits because I'm
Yeah,
sure it was weighing on him the looming
for sure.
back and forth he was going to have with the team and maybe some harsh realities brought forward by the team that probably wouldn't feel great and wouldn't have
No.
feeling necessarily confident to start
Hmm.
the season. But speaking of feeling confident, let's segue to some exciting stuff. We're seeing the boys arrive in Dunedin.
Yep.
Everyone looks like they're super happy to be back and around the team again.
Hmm.
And George Springer rolled in day one with the Hartford Whalers hat, which was
You gotta
sick.
love it, man. You gotta
That
love it.
was a nice look.
He also said that he's going to use a Hartford Whalers inspired walk up song at least once this year. I'm
Oh,
curious.
really?
I'm
I don't
curious to
even
see.
know.
I just read the article this morning. I'm wondering
I don't
what
even know what a song involving the Hartford Whalers could even be.
maybe a theme
Um,
song,
yeah,
like a
who
goal
knows?
song or something. I don't know. Anyway,
Who knows? But yeah, George looking good. Obviously, he had a quote that was making the rounds in Toronto, which is another just positive out of these first couple of days of players
spring.
reporting to spring training. And he
Hmm.
said simply, "It feels good to feel good."
Yeah.
And that's about that's as about a good of a quote as you can get from George Springer, considering the fact that I think for probably 90% of his Blue Jays tenure, he hasn't felt good.
No, he's got
uh,
what was it? What was it? First season, he had quad issue,
yeah,
then his oblique, and then last year he had the bone spurs in the elbow, which thank God he got the surgery for to
gosh,
get out of them.
that was worrying because that would have just lingered and
Yeah.
lingered, and the smallest thing could tweak
Hmm.
it. Any throw we saw, just routine throws from the outfield, just he
Yeah.
tweaked it. You could tell he's like, and
Yeah.
then that obviously transitioned to him taking these awkward swings at the plate and not being
Hmm.
able to be the dynamic offensive player that
Yeah.
he can be. Let's go. Like, I just want to say this. Do you
Hmm.
remember his first game with the Blue Jays, regular season game?
First regular season game.
You remember that performance?
I don't actually. I
It
can't
was one of the
recall.
crazy. He had the quad. He was like limping. He could barely walk. And remember him hitting 2 home runs against the Braves in
Oh
Dunedin?
yes, that's right. That's right. And
I'll never forget that.
it could barely walk around the bases.
Buck Martinez, he hit that one 9 miles or something like that. Yeah, no, that was like that was insane. But that was still not great because he was hobbled. He was not 100%. But it
Hmm.
seems like coming into the spring training, there are really no issues with Springer. He had that offseason elbow surgery to get those bone chips or bone spurs removed. Definitely
Don't mind me, just bartending.
all good.
I'm
No, it's
nursing a
definitely
bad
I
hangover,
think
my guy. I'm nursing a
yeah,
bad hangover.
all good. No, I think that's definitely
Uh,
the move that was the right move in the offseason was for him to get that surgery and get
oh,
everything
100%.
cleaned up and just hopefully avoid any
Yeah.
lingering elbow issues.
Well, not
Uh,
just that. Remember when him and Bo collided in the second game of the
yeah,
wild card. That he sprained his shoulder. I'm pretty sure he had a mild concussion too. Because when he was on the cart getting taken off the field, he did not look like he was all
yeah.
there.
I
He was
think he
like
was in shock. Like I
he was
think
like
some of he
woozy
was in
eyed. He was
shock.
like, "What the hell just
Yeah,
happened?" And
yeah.
now I remember watching that. I remember I was watching that game. We are like, "Oh, 8-1, we're gonna win, or 7-1, we're gonna win the game." And then the icing on the cake is
I know.
George Springer and
That
Bo
was really
Bichette.
I know. That was like just a poetic play to just describe that whole game, that whole series. That was just that was a backbreaker. That was a heartbreaker for sure. But we can. The best thing about sports is there's another year, and that's what we're getting started now. And Springer, he's committed to right field. He's going to play the majority of his games in right field. He's going to DH some. I think that's the right move. I saw this. I actually saw this question posed on social media while we're talking about the outfield. We saw Dalton Varsho in the Blue Jays get up for the first time, which
he looks good.
Cool.
He looks very good.
He looks good. He looks happy.
It's the same thing, like I said, with Chapman. Looks right. Just looks right.
It does. The Blue Jays uniforms are nice. They can flatter. They can flatter you, and both those guys look good in it. But I kind of saw this going around on social media. Do you think that Kiermaier will get more starts in center or Varsho this season?
Well, from all the reports that I've read, Varsho is going to be our everyday left fielder. So Kiermaier will get the majority of the starts. Yeah. Okay. I think I can, they'll probably give him a day off once every 7 or 8 days, and then they'll probably bump Varsho into center, and then probably throw Biggio out in left, or move Springer to left and put Biggio out in right, which I don't hate. Biggio's not a great defender in the outfield, but he's not bad. Like, he could be a lot worse. Plus, you got to give the guy some playing time. Or you got Whit Merrifield. He can go in man center field or left or right. It doesn't matter. The ultimate utility guy on that team. Or if you really were desperate, Brandon Belt can go out there and give you some innings in left or right field.
The giraffe out there.
The giraffe, the majestic gazelle.
Yeah.
6'4", big Texan boy.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen anything of him arriving yet.
I wonder if he has yet. Maybe he's trying to get his affairs in order as far as like his housing, because I think he had a house in San Francisco with his wife and kids. So
yeah, and he's done Arizona spring training for his whole career.
That's true. He's not been to Florida.
Used to Florida.
That's true. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But yeah, I haven't seen him yet. One guy we did see was the legend of Yusei Kikuchi. He's back. Yeah. Got a new look. With his mechanics, it seems like, and with the facial hair. Is he on Japan? Is he on Team Japan, or is he?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about him.
I don't think he is.
No, but they released the players on the Jays who were going to play in the WBC. It was Kirk, Vladdy,
Otto Lopez
playing for Canada. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Big Montreal boy. Kikuchi rocking a beard. Interesting. I don't mind it. I think it looks good on him. It works for him,
I didn't really see it close up. I just saw that long video from kind of behind. Did you see that guy? Did you see that guy standing like right beside the
that was I think that was his interpreter. Yeah, because they wanted it to be look like live BP, but he had like a catcher's mitt to protect himself.
Dude, I was like, this guy,
he's facing 92-mile-an-hour cutters, and he looked back at the camera after the first pitch. He was like,
yeah, he kind of like jumped out of the way. I'm like, dude, you know who's throwing these pitches?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing?
They're at the highest walk rate of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I saw someone respond. It was Keegan Matheson who posted that video on Twitter. Shout out to Keegan. I love that guy.
Yeah.
But the guy responds. It was literally every pitch was a ball. I was like, dude, the guy's trying.
We shouldn't judge him, man. We shouldn't judge him just yet. But
also, can we talk about the picture of Hyun Jin Ryu?
Oh my god,
dude, his calves! What the fuck?
If you can, Jack, over this, put that picture up.
I'm going to.
People need to see the calves. Like it looked like
photoshopped. Because I sent it to you and Evan. I was like, this shit's not real, right? Like
it looked like a botched Photoshop. Like, I was
dumbfounded. I was like, what?
I couldn't take my eyes off it.
No, I was like, how do I get calves like that?
No, I know.
I gotta be a Korean genetic freak.
Yeah, literally the Korean monster.
I saw a guy who responded to it on TikTok or on Instagram or something. He's in the photo behind him. He did the green screen effect. He goes, "This guy's gonna be hitting 105 this year." I'm like, I don't think that high. He'll probably hit 91 or 92 like he normally does. But
that's never been his thing.
He's a finesse pitcher.
It's good to see him back. Well, probably a couple months before he maybe starts ramping it up.
They're saying May. That's fine with me. It's only a month or two in, so
He could do a job. I'm convinced, man. A soft
yeah.
throwing lefty like that with some wonky stuff can really change the look.
Yeah, and
Ryan Yarbrough, man. The Rays had him as their secret weapon for
now
years,
he's in Kansas City.
Just completely
Yeah.
changing the look that you can give to lineups. Just
It's
hard
crazy.
thrower, and then or you can start with Ryu and then bring in a hard thrower or vice versa. Just really change the look.
Start Ryu, bring in Kikuchi, or start Kikuchi, bring in Ryu. Either one, because I don't think he's going to be seeing straight up starts for the first month or two of his return. I think he'll probably come out of the pen.
Yeah.
If I'm in all honesty,
which like Orion Yarbrough you can change, completely throw off a lineup.
Yeah. Lord knows he did it to the Jays numerous times last year and the previous years too.
Yeah, they're the Tampa Bay Rays special. The Jays seem to like kind of taking the Rays philosophies and their principles.
Hey man, one of the lowest budget teams in baseball, and they somehow have a playoff contending team every year.
Innovative,
which,
man.
By the way, anybody, and I'm looking at all of you MLB analysts out there who think that the Tampa Bay Rays are going to have a better season than the Toronto Blue Jays, you're out of your minds. They've lost players and haven't really gotten better.
But somehow they'll bring up this international prospect who's the
I'm gonna have my foot's in my mouth right now. I'm just spewing.
No, I agree with you. On paper, the Blue Jays are much better.
Yeah, exactly. And also, everyone's saying Wander Franco's a better player than Bo. I'm sorry. Defensively, yes. Offensively, hell no. Not even close.
He hasn't proven it yet. Bo has definitely proven so far that he's
why? Because Wander Franco's a switch hitter.
He got hurt last year, which is tough because that would have been his first full season. But we'll have to see this year. Those guys are going to be going head to head a lot, so we'll get a firsthand look at the matchup there. But yeah, on paper the Jays are better. The Rays, though, they're going to win 85 games or more.
Yeah,
it's just what they do. It's just what they do, and you just got to hope that you can win more and also more than the other teams in the division as well. Well, all right, Jack, anything else from spring training that caught? Sorry, go ahead if you.
No, I was just going to say I was watching MLB Network and Matt Vasgersian was singing a high praise for the Blue Jays offseason. He said that this team will likely be a 95-plus win team and they could very well run away with the division because let's be honest here. One bad injury to Aaron Judge and the Yankee season's probably done because that guy carried that offense for the entire season. Not to mention, did
you see the news that just dropped about the Yankees?
No, I did not.
Or I'll pull it up, but you can go on.
I pull it up while I keep going here. But again, Frankie Montas, we got just over Frankie Montas. Yeah, he's got his shoulder issue, right?
He could be out for the year.
Oh, could be out for the year. So all of a sudden they're starting rotation, and they lost Jameson Taillon, Luis Severino.
Much.
No, they didn't. They brought Judge back on the contract. Same with Rizzo.
Rodon,
that was big.
That was their move.
Tommy Kahnle back in the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
After going to be on the Dodgers last season. Mm-hmm. We just got under 10 minutes left here, so we'll keep going for a few more minutes, but then we'll wrap this thing up with a hopefully semi-pretty bow. Yeah, I don't like. Besides Carlos Rodon, again. Frankie Montas being out for the year is not good for that starting rotation. Also, Luis Severino is I love the way Luis Severino pitches. He is filthy when he's healthy, but that's the problem when he's healthy, and he has not been healthy for the last probably 3 years. Off and on, he's had dealings with injuries. So
yeah, he opted not to go to the World Baseball Classic. I don't even know if the Yankees let him go. I think they're a little worried.
I wouldn't, but also one bad injury to that starting rotation or one bad injury to Aaron Judge, which I'd never wish. I'm knocking on wood. As much as I hate the Yankees as a Blue Jay fan, what that guy did last year was nothing short of. Oh, he's great to watch. I still want to go to a game against the Yankees and watch Aaron Judge hit. I don't want to sit in nosebleeds. I want to sit like 100 level. I'll pay that $150 ticket just to see Aaron Judge, just to see how fucking massive he is.
I don't want to see him hit in Toronto when he's going to break the AL home run record.
That was fine. Yeah,
not the game I want to be at, but
glad he did it
in the season. Maybe we can try and see him hit his first home run of the year and mid-May because he's on a skid or something. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, the AL East is going to be a battle as it always is. I do
The
think that the Jays
Orioles.
have the best team on paper, and
Yeah.
I do
Well,
strongly believe that the Jays, and I will say the Blue Jays, looking at these guys rolling into spring training, I think they're maybe you could go back and look at 2015, 2016, but this is the most complete Blue Jays team could be in the past, since the turn of the century. You could look at 2015, 2016, those teams were fairly complete, but I don't think they had the star power in the starting rotation that this team does.
I mean, our two best pitchers were Marco Estrada and R.A. Dickey.
And Stroman. Yeah. Yeah.
So you didn't have a Kevin Gausman or an Alek Manoah,
This team is well balanced. It's got, plenty of depth. It's got star power. It's just, it's you got to keep you got to just put it together. You got to just find the right balance, and Schneider and Mattingly, who looks good down in spring training as well, I must say.
Also,
just, hit
shout
the right
out
button.
to Schneider. It was just happy birthday to John Schneider yesterday. Happy birthday, John.
He looks young, man.
He looks
I don't
great.
even know how old he is, but he looks like 29.
Yeah, he looks great. He doesn't look any different from his Dunedin Blue Jays roster photo from 2004.
Yeah, that guy's got a great beard. I don't know if I've ever seen a beard suit a guy more than John Schneider. But yeah, happy birthday to John. It's great to see the guys arriving down in Dunedin. I love the first day. You just see all the guys walking in and just reminds you of how good the roster is and how deep it is. And Jack, is there anything else you want to?
Yeah, I just wanted to end it off. Maybe we give our predictions for the AL East turnout, at the end of the year, just quickly. We got just over 6 minutes left here, so we got a bit of time. Okay. My prediction is from 1 to 5. All right, I'll go 5 to 1. It's more head on the edge of your seat that way. Yeah. I'm gonna go Red Sox in 5th. Obvious reasons. They did not get any better this offseason. I'd argue they got worse. They
signed Corey Kluber.
Oh.
They signed Justin Turner, man.
Oh, wow. So 38-year-old and a 39-year-old. They lost JD Martinez. They signed Rafael Devers to an extension. And they lost Xander Bogaerts.
And Nate Eovaldi.
He's gone. Chris Sale is a question mark next year this season, if he's going to be healthy or not. So you got the Red Sox finishing dead last in the AL East.
I agree.
Yeah. Next up. This might be controversial. I'm going to say that Tampa Bay Rays are finishing 4th.
I agree.
And then the Baltimore Orioles are going to be in 3rd, and then the Yankees, and then the Blue Jays. That's my prediction. I have the Jays winning 98 games this year, 98-64 record.
Mine's the same in terms of the lineup
tier list. Yeah,
I think the Orioles are. See, with them, I feel like it's going to go one of two ways.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, like we were saying with the Jays, you got to find that mix. You gotta, you got the pieces. You just got to push all the right buttons with those pieces. Yep. And I think with the Orioles, it's going to go. They're going to, continue this meteoric rise that they've had recently with these young players, or these young players are going to, figure out, or they're not going to make it look as easy as maybe they did last year when they were rolling. Mm-hmm. And the learning curve and the reality of being in the majors might hit these guys hard, and they might struggle. But that's okay. If you're an Orioles fan, that's perfectly fine. You've got many years to
yeah. You mean you got Adley Rutschman at catcher.
They made really no moves in the offseason.
They got Kyle Gibson for their starting rotation. They traded for Cole Irvin.
Bad, but
not bad. He's not a needle mover by any.
They're not. I don't think they're in their kind of Blue Jays George Springer phase where they're like, all right, we're getting our studs. We're going for it. They got a backup catcher too, who's not bad.
No, I don't know who they grabbed.
Backup Rutschman, and I'm really looking.
James McCann. They traded for James McCann.
I like that signing.
That's a good. Well, it's not even a signing. They took on the rest of his contract from the Mets, which was I think $14 million change or something. So it's a bad contract now.
It is
in hindsight, but
I like the fit there because he's not going to have to play much because you have probably the best catcher in the game.
He will be by the end of the season.
By the end of the season, he will be. Yeah.
I don't think JT Realmuto's best years are ahead of him. At this point, he's 32 years old. His knees are not going to hold up.
he had the resurgence, man. Like
He did, but I don't know if because he might not even be their everyday catcher in a couple seasons. He could move to first base or even just be the DH. Him and Rhys Hoskins split time there, and then the Phillies are gonna have to go and find another catcher. But
yeah,
as far as
is the future of the catching position.
The guy
we gotta go see him this year. That's somebody.
Yeah, 100%. I saw Adley. I was when I was sitting in the TD seats behind home plate.
Yeah.
I actually spoke to him. I said, I'm like, congrats on getting call up. He said, thanks, man. I was like, cool, nice guy, Adley.
Oh yeah, he seems like a good guy.
Yeah,
and he's a freak.
Switch hitter too, man, and he's fast. I think he had 40 doubles last year, and he got called up like mid-June or something. That's insane.
Yeah,
most guys don't hit 40 doubles from the start of the season.
I think ranking him as the best catcher in baseball is perfectly reasonable.
Let's talk about the best catching tandem. You got two top 10.
Yeah, the Jays have it.
But not even close.
Team with two catchers in the top 10. So
yeah, no.
The Gabriel Moreno departure.
But you got a guy who can play outfield and play catcher if you need him in an emergency. So I think we won that trade.
I said in the first episode too. Mm-hmm. You're going to trade one of the catchers, and whichever two are left, that's a great tandem. Doesn't really matter who or why or what for.
Mm-hmm.
You had three good catchers. The two that are left, Jansen and Kirk, we know now. It's a good tandem.
We got just over a minute and a half here, buddy. So if you want to start
let's bring it home.
Yep.
We're going to be keeping an eye on all the storylines from spring training. It's always a fun time of the year, getting little nuggets of information, whispers around the facility down there in Dunedin. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be keeping an eye on all that stuff.
Can't wait to hear Buck Martinez's, to use your adjective, Chris, buttery voice on the broadcast.
Silky Buck. All the home spring training games are going to be broadcast as well on Sportsnet, so we'll be watching those. And we'll obviously speak on that and just go through some of those games and keep an eye and keep getting ramped up for the season. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. This has been the Blue Jay Way podcast. Chris, Mate, Jack, Ryan. It's been a blast, Jack, and we will talk to you guys soon. Yeah.